This video will cover how you use flamethrower towers instead of elemental chaos traps in the Nightmare 4 Gates of Dragonfall incursion. This is primarily aimed at people who want a new challenge, to do something different than kind of the normal meta to a degree, or someone who went for the Flamethrower Uber instead of the elemental chaos Uber. I'll say that this build is inferior to the typical elemental chaos build, but it will work. It just requires a little bit more babysitting and a little bit more care. I will say that this build is pretty much the same as my other build. There's some slight differences. I would recommend watching my other video. Two of the lanes still use explosive traps just like in the other video. You pretty much need the same heroes. You will need two people. You will need a walling squire, a trapping huntress, a flamethrower apprentice, a frosty apprentice, and a boosting monk, and ideally a DPS huntress. You will not be able to make both your frosty towers and your flame towers on the same character because of the way you have to change spheres. If you want to see how I've changed my gear and spheres, I've made another video about a flamethrower apprentice that I recommend checking out. So to start, as I said, this build is pretty much the same as my other build. One of the main differences outside of the flame towers is that on one side you're only using 3 frosty towers, and that is the side that will have the double magic resist lane. On the physical resist lane side, you will still have these 4 frosty towers, as they will boost your flamethrower towers, and you need that extra little bit of oomph. Now, coming over to this physical resist lane, I'll start here first. You build 4 flamethrower towers. Take note that this tree right here will block the attacks going this way and the attacks going this way, so you kind of got to try and place these smartly. That's a pretty common issue, is that it'll also hit this and other places or that tree, so just be aware that there is collision. This 4th one aims to primarily take out books, or more correctly I guess Maltheists, I call them books or mages sometimes, that stock up right there. These flamethrower towers are all prone to dying, this one in particular. If they're javelin throwers, they are very prone to dying. This one can die from kobolds hitting here. This boost aura, you can shift up pretty much to here, and this way you get pretty much all these towers. This is the only one. I should say that my non-boosted towers are 6700 DPS. I have done this when I forgot to put on all my correct gear. I still only had my frosty power gear on, so I've done it with 6000 DPS flamethrower towers as well. So this is how you would do the right side. The middle is slightly different, that I put my first one on this rock here, so this will cover close to the wall. This one again kind of goes in the same position as that other one, but it faces the other direction and covers here. The next 2 you put on these posts here. The first one goes here and kind of aims back towards the middle, and the final one goes on this post, if I can get it to cooperate, and aims towards where the Maltheist guys would congregate if these traps were in here. Just pretend this is physical resist lane. It's important to note that these traps will fire in 360, or not traps, sorry, these flamethrower towers will fire in 360 degree arcs, as you can see. So sometimes when you're trying to hit things in this physical resist, you're going to be seeing your flamethrower towers attacking magic resist. That's one of the downsides of this build, but there's not a whole lot you can do about it right now. They say that the inner cone that you see when you're placing these flamethrower towers and other towers just period sets their target priority, but I'm not entirely sure if that's working correctly. And now if the left lane was physical resist, I put one here, one here, and a final one right here. This one is prone to dying to kobolds, or well, particularly kobolds that hit like this left side of the wall right here. Ogres will sometimes hit it. This is high enough that if an ogre jumps, he won't land on these, or the jump won't kill them. And the final fourth tower over here goes up on here for the Malthius guys that spawn here. Now I'm going to sell another one of these lanes and show you how you deal with wave 5 where you have double physical resist. On wave 5 you will need to sell your Serenity Aura and your 4th Frosty Tower on the side with 4. So now we'll just pretend that this left lane is as is. That it's a physical resist lane and middle's physical resist as well. You'll pretty much build it exactly as you built it normally. You put the 2 on there, come over here, put 1 on this big rock in the back. If you move this too far forward, it will get killed by kobolds. Same with this wall here. This wall, or not wall, sorry. This Flamethrower Tower has a propensity for being killed right here, but there's not really a better place to put it. Do not put them on these posts right here or in this gap here, as they will die very quickly. And so this is how you would build if you had a mid and left physical lane. Similarly, if you had a right and physical lane, you would obviously get rid of these and build once again the same way. The only issues you're going to run into are you're going to have to kind of play around with your spacing on these two. So this might be a little bit more dangerous positioning, but you need to be able to get one here too. You can continue to try and find a better position for these along here. I would recommend trying to find a better position. I always play with them a little bit to try and find something a little bit better. And finally, if you had physical on left and right, you would just do the standard builds. There's nothing special. You don't have to shift anything anywhere, kind of like you might have to right here. I won't bother showing you that because I have faith that you can figure it out yourselves. As I've said, I'm going to stress this again, this build is not as good as the Elemental Chaos Traps. Your Flamethrower Towers will die, especially if you let air stuff from the right side. Oops, didn't mean to set that off. If you don't kill the stuff that spawns here for air on wave 4, they will kill these towers. On the left side, it isn't too bad if kind of the air gets too far down. Javelin throwers will murder these things. I can't seem to find positions that javelin throwers won't target them somehow. Kobolds will kill the ones close to walls generally, but there's not really positions that you can put them that won't get killed by kobolds. And sometimes they'll just die. You won't know how they die. So just be prepared to rebuild. They also need more upgrades, in my experience, than traps would. So I focus on walls still to begin with, but I also give the Flamethrower Towers some upgrades to help with whatever's coming. So if, say, this was wave 2 and I wanted to upgrade a little bit, I would actually probably upgrade on this right here, since it's a hard lane. I'd probably upgrade this tower right here on wave 2, if pretending this was wave 2. Because there's 3 Lady Orcs, 6 of the big guys, a bunch of little small guys, and only 1 Burrower, and only 1 Malthius. So that's pretty much the basis of this build. I'll be doing 2 other videos with unique builds for this map on Nightmare 4, one with Flamethrower Towers and Ballistas and Cannons, and one using Earth Shatter Towers and Frosty Towers and Explosive Mines. So keep an eye out for those in the future. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them and I'll get back to you.